everybody, and welcome to Godly Geeks Studios. I'm AB Doodles.
I'm Ryan Maniac.
And this is Movie Reviews.
Movie Reviews.
It has been a while.
It's been a while. Life's been busy for us a lot lately.
I think the last movie we reviewed was the Clone Wars movie, wasn't it?
We reviewed the movie and the whole series.
Oh my gosh.
Nice review of that. And we intended on doing a lot more last year, but life kind of got crazy and difficult for a while.
Sure. Which is crazy, because the only movies we've actually ever reviewed are all Star Wars and then the Sonic movie, and now we're doing something totally different.
It's really bad. We've done Star Wars movies and video game movies. How'd that work out?
Going pretty well, I guess, because these are great movies.
Yeah, but we don't want to get into everything that's happened because we don't want to make this yet another update video. We're here to review a movie today.
Oh, for sure. We are actually here to talk about
the recently released
Uncharted movie starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. Let me just say that I went into this not really having a lot of expectations, because just kind of like when I went into the Sonic movie, I was just like, what are they going to do? And I actually left the movie theater very pleased. I actually highly enjoyed myself.
I agree. Like, you were more excited to see it than I was. I was like, it's not one I definitely want to see, but it's like, I'm not going to be upset if I go see it either.
I love Nathan Drake, and I mean, as you can see, I'm wearing the ring. I don't know if you can see it. See, I'm wearing the ring. But I love the Uncharted games, so to see it come to life on the big screen was really exciting for me. And I also love Tom Holland. I mean, I think he's awesome. Not just as Spider-Man, as we all know him for, but just he's a pretty great actor. Yeah. In my book. I think he's doing really well.
I'm also a big fan of the Uncharted games. I've played all of them aside from Lost Legacy.
Yeah, I haven't played that one.
If you're counting the mainline stuff, not counting any of the Vita spin-offs or dozen other whatchamacallits. I've played 1 through 4 on the PS4. Loved all of them. Drake's Fortune, the first one, kind of aged a little badly, but for the most part, I love them all.
Fourth one is my fave.
Fourth one's probably the best one out of all of them. So I saw this, and I know it's been in development for years and years and years, and it keeps getting redone and dropped and picked back up and all this stuff. So I was interested to see where it came out. Just, I mean, knowing how video game movies are lately, or their history, I should say, I was a little worried. I was like, are they going to actually do it justice? And I did come out of this pleasantly surprised. I mean,
rude.
Come out of this pleasantly surprised, and I mean, I don't think it's going to make any movie of the year or top 10 movies of the year, or even top 10 of all time, really. But it's one that, like, I didn't feel like I wasted time going to see it. It was a very enjoyable hour and a half, 2 hours.
It was almost 2 hours long, yeah.
Yeah. For however long it was an enjoyable time. I was like, okay, I could see that they were trying to pay respects to the game.
So before we go any further in talking about the movie and our thoughts on it and some of our favorite parts, maybe some of our least favorite parts, I'm gonna say two things. One, if you're expecting a movie that's straight out of the video games, that's not what this is. It takes a lot of inspiration from the video games, and obviously you have the characters from the video games, but it is not an actual, like, straight out storyline from a video game.
Yeah, it is by no means a direct adaptation of any one of the games. Its overall plot is kind of like the plot of 4, but for the most part,
but also not at the same time.
It's like the general idea of what they're trying to find is 4, but the actual story itself is very different.
Yes.
So, but aside from that, they like pick and choose moments from all of them that lots of fans enjoy. So it's more of like a paying respects to the entire franchise sort of thing, as opposed to just being a direct adaptation.
Kind of just starting its own thing as well. And second of all, before we go any further, if you have not seen the movie, stop right now, because what we're fixing to talk about is going to have spoilers in it. So if you actually want to see this and not know any spoilers, then stop this right now, go see it, and then come back to this video.
And I'll also add onto that, if you have not played the games, there'll probably be spoilers throughout that, because like I said, the movie takes a lot of inspiration from the games, and so therefore we might draw a couple comparisons to the games.
But if you're not somebody that likes video games, or you have no desire to play the Uncharted video games, and you just want to see the movie, or you have seen the movie, then you're fine. You don't have to play the video games to go see this movie or to enjoy this movie. That's one thing I will say.
Yeah. Okay, so the general plot of this picks up with a young Nathan Drake and his brother Sam, who have broken into some sort of history exhibit. I believe it was a museum. They find a map from Magellan who was the first one to travel entirely around the world, except he didn't, because apparently they were secretly finding a treasure for a family. I don't remember the name of the top of my head. Finding a treasure for them, but then like they get caught, and as a result of that, Sam is taken away. He runs away to avoid being arrested by the police, leaving his ring with Nate, saying, "I'm going to come back." And then cut to however many years later,
I think it's
15 years, something like that, just present day, where Nate has grown up. He's now a bartender in New York, just kind of doing his own thing, isn't really interested in the thing, but he gets occasional postcards from his brother and that sort of thing. Kind of pickpockets at his job, until one day a gentleman by the name of Sully notices one of his pickpocketing jobs and decides to take him up on an offer to find this lost treasure that him and his brother discovered so many years ago. So the entire plot of the movie is them finding the various different clues and artifacts in which they need to further along to find the treasure, to hopefully get to it before an ancestor of the ancient family gets to it first.
Yep. So if you've seen any treasure hunt movies, this is the kind of feel that it gives you. I like the action part of it. I like that Tom Holland does a really good job of portraying Nathan Drake. There were definitely moments where I was like, man, that was Nathan Drake straight out of one of the video games. Mark Wahlberg does a really good job with capturing who Sully was. And I think for me, I sat there in the movie theater and I was actually like, I was like, there was times where I laughed, there was times where I was like, what's gonna happen? Oh, I did not see that coming. There was just a lot of times in the movie where I just was like, very enjoyed. And I also didn't have to overthink stuff. I didn't have to like sit there and go, what is happening? When is this gonna happen? When is this gonna happen? Why is this happening? It was just more of like, oh my gosh, it was a very good, feel-good adventure, treasure hunt movie.
Yeah. I will say one of the big things that did make me a little cautious is when I first saw the trailers, I couldn't for the life of me see Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, just because after playing the games, something about him, like I understand they were going for a younger Nathan Drake, but something in my brain, like I don't know if it was the fact that I was so used to him as Spider-Man or just because of the fact that he looked so young, something in my brain would connect it with Nathan Drake. But then after seeing the movie, while he didn't completely win me over, I think he did actually a good job. Like, there was plenty throughout the movie where you're like, yep, that's Nathan Drake.
Yes.
The only real downfalls was like there was one or two times where he channeled a little bit of Peter Parker there, which is fine. I like Peter Parker, but Peter Parker and Nathan Drake are kind of two different characters, really. One's kind of a nerdy, geeky sort of character, and the other one's the super confident, quippy machine.
But I also have to say that this movie actually takes place, and this is Nathan Drake's first actual ever adventure.
Yeah.
So I have to, knowing that that's what the plot of the movie is this is Nathan Drake's very first ever adventure. So I don't really see how someone that's never done anything could be as confident as the Nathan Drake that we've seen in the video games, because he's done it many times.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for years. So this one, it was at the end, started going toward the end of the movie is when his confidence really started coming, and he was like, wait, no, I am made to do this. This is who I am. This is it. This is my life. I love doing this. And so you could definitely see confidence started coming out more at the end. But definitely at the beginning of the movie, he was kind of unconfident, didn't really know where he just didn't feel like he belonged in anything.
Yeah, I think that was just my biggest thing, is just the Nathan Drake of the games, all throughout him, aside from flashbacks, he's the confident, I can do this, go-getter kind of dude. And so to now randomly see him just on a starting out adventure was a little weird, but like I said, the way Tom Holland portrayed him and the way he was written, the personality of Nate totally shone through. Mm-hmm. And while he was not, I still don't think he's the one and done for sure Nathan Drake, I still think he did a very good job for what he was given.
I will have to say that I think the best person that they picked to play Chloe was spot on. Not only did she look exactly like Chloe from the video games, but I feel like she really gave off that personality. It was as if Chloe from the Uncharted games literally just was placed on the film, and I really loved her as a character. I like Chloe in the games, but then this movie kind of made me really love her even more.
Yeah, my personal pick, I think Mark Wahlberg as Sully was absolutely spot on. Like, just his mannerisms.
Oh my gosh.
And the way, I could definitely see him as a much younger Sully. Just age him up a little bit, give him a little bit more of a raspy voice. That's Sully.
Yeah, I could definitely, there were definitely times where I was like, oh my gosh. I will have to say there was one time, going back to Tom Holland and as has Nathan Drake, that I will say that you've seen it in the trailers when the car comes out of the thing and he goes, oh crap, and he, falls out of the plane, which is all over the trailers. I love to say that was like spot on Nathan Drake. That was
picture perfect right
there.
I was
like,
That's
I have
Drake.
Heard Nathan Drake say that. I couldn't tell you how many times.
Just go back and play the video games and just take account of how many times Nate goes, oh crap!
And then as many times as he thinks something's going to go one way and it goes something totally different and he's having to figure it out on the fly. And like I said, I feel like the plane aspect onward is really the Nathan Drake that we know and remember, is when he really started becoming Nathan Drake. I think the first half of the movie he was really trying to figure out who he was, which is totally understandable with how they were wanting to portray this movie. So, I will say that if you're wanting your kids to go see it, it is a PG-13 movie. There is some cussing in it, so be prepared for that. But there wasn't like a ton. There was, and so like if you have older kids, 12 and up, this would be a great family movie to go see, especially if you have a kid that loves anything to do with treasure hunts or, adventure or anything like that. I highly recommend letting your kids watch the movies with you. Obviously, if you want, you can totally like review it for yourself to see if your kids are, ready for that kind of movie or not. But I feel like it was a really great family movie.
Yeah, I feel like any family could really watch this. There wasn't really there wasn't so much language to the point that it's just like, okay, I don't know if my kid should watch this because they'll probably.
It was probably about the same amount of language that some of the other older Marvel movies have started adding in.
Yeah, but I'd say even some of the more recent ones have just a little bit worse language, as of late at least. So this one's a lot tamer, so a kid should be able to watch this and be fine.
Oh, for sure.
Just as long as you discuss, hey, don't be saying that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and there wasn't like anything that was like super terrifying either for a kid. Nothing that I think would make them like have nightmares or anything. So, Marie, what are you doing? So sorry, our cats are roaming through the house and they're just being absolutely stupid. Yes, love them. But like I said, it's a great movie. I think the biggest thing that I kind of had was it was just the I won't say it if you the plot twist with the villain. It was overused in my personal opinion. I can
kind of agree with that. That was probably my least favorite part of the movie, is that even though I love the actor that played the villain, Antonio Banderas, even though I can't for the life of me remember his name, I love Antonio Banderas as an actor, but I thought he was probably the weakest because he's just as generic, I must restore to my family's honor.
And then there was...
At any cost.
And then there was a plot twist, and it was kind of predictable. I was kind of like, really? Did they have to go there? Like, I was hoping that they wouldn't, but the twist was there, and it was just like, so overused. I wish they could come up with something a little different. But if it works and it makes you money, then I guess don't change it.
Yeah. And I mean, there were also lots of parts of the movie that were very predictable, where it's just like saying, oh, this character and this character hate each other now, and they're obviously doing it. They want nothing, or like Nate wants nothing to do with this character anymore, and you're like, by the end they're gonna make up and resolve their differences and end up being buddies again. Just because that's how so many movies go. Yeah. And then a couple other things that, like, unfortunately, if you have played the games, there's a little bit predicting. Like, they make this big deal about Nate's brother's dead, but then in the credits it's revealed, oh, he's actually in a prison somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, if you've played the games, you already know this. Yeah.
And then, of course, the same thing is like, oh, they think they found it. They're in this big, huge tomb. Psych, it's just another map. Like, stuff, there are some predictable aspects of it.
This character portrays another character.
Exactly. But at the same time, like, I don't want that to, like, say that the movie's bad, because I like sometimes just being able to watch a movie and leaving a movie theater and not have to overthink it. Not have to sit in my car. We don't have to discuss, why do you think they did this? It was just a movie that we could like come back and, actually really enjoyed it. It was really fun.
This is much more of a fun, goofy movie that it doesn't require like deeper thought. Mm-hmm. It's not something like Joker where you analyze each and every little piece. It's more just like here's a fun action movie that's based on a video game.
Yeah.
You don't really have to think much further into it. It takes stuff from the games and just has fun.
And I'll just say that they did the same thing with Sonic, and I thought that Sonic did really well. And we see that Sonic is coming out with a second one, which we will also be reviewing that one.
And they did somewhat similar of a thing with the Mortal Kombat movie.
I know some people hated it. Well, I actually kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
I like to see that studios now, in terms of their video game movie adaptations, are starting to take a thing like, we can do our own unique thing while still also respecting the people who like it. Which I understand is a very tricky balance, because you're trying to be respectful and do good by the millions and millions and millions of fans of this property, and also try to make it digestible enough for a new audience that has no idea about video games.
Yeah.
So that's a very hard tightrope to walk, which I can kind of understand why it's been so difficult to make adaptations like that work.
So, like I said, if you have someone that's never played Uncharted, doesn't know anything about Nathan Drake, they probably left this movie loving it even more than someone that's played the video games. And that's understandable, and that's awesome. Now you could talk about Nathan Drake with them and talk about the games and probably get them to try to maybe even play them with you. So I feel like it's a great way to open up a whole new world to people that have maybe never played these video games or never wanted anything to do with these video games. So I think that overall, I want to see a second one.
Yeah.
They kind of left it open for a second one, so I'm hoping that we do get another one. So, yeah, I think out of a score of 10 being awesome, 1 being okay, don't go see it, I'm going to give it probably about an 8.5.
I'll probably give it about an 8 myself. It wasn't absolutely amazing and mind-blowing or Academy Award winning, but again, it's fine. It's fun.
It's definitely a movie that I'm going to buy, and it's going to be in our movie shelf, so. It's
one that, I don't know if it's one that's going to be remembered years and years later for changing cinema, but at the same time, it's a well-done video game adaptation, I think.
Yeah.
And, like AB was saying, if you've played none of the games, you can watch this and, pick up everything fine.
Absolutely.
There's, if you've played the games, there's enough Easter eggs in there for you to go, hey, I remember that from the games. But if you haven't, it still explains the story enough that you can follow along just fine. And then if you come out of it liking it, maybe you might get interested in the video games. I don't know. Yeah, so, like we said, great movie, enjoyed it. Go see it for yourself. If you have seen it already, and if you haven't seen it, why did you watch the rest of this video? I just want to know why you did this to yourself. But if you have seen the movie, we want to know what your thoughts on it. Did you like it? Why didn't you like it? Do you think Tom Holland is a good Nathan Drake? Do you think Mark Wahlberg's a good Sully? Are there any things you think they should do for a sequel? Just leave your comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button. You can also share this video to other people that maybe have seen the movie, maybe people that haven't seen the movie and you want to say, listen, we should so go see this movie. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because we are actually going to start being able to put some more content out. Not as regularly as we want to, because we're in the process of trying to find a place to live. Yeah. Yes, we are living in a house. This is a very temporary location. Very, very temporary. So, So we don't know how often we'll be able to get content out, but now that we have more means and have gotten things life settled in a way we actually can work on videos again, we plan on trying to get a lot more stuff out. It might not be a lot of gaming. We probably won't be doing really any streaming just because we don't have the best internet here. But just be prepared. We're gonna do stuff when we can. Yeah. So we appreciate you guys staying with us. Thank you for watching, and we hope you guys have a fantastical day, fantastical night, week, whatever it is. We just hope it's a fantastical one, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Peace.